When we talk about ordering integers, what we're meaning is that we're talking about putting them in order from either least to greatest or greatest to least. It's fine. Okay? When we're talking about ordering integers, I kind of visually think of a number line. And when I do that, sometimes it helps me if I just kind of make a mini number line on my paper. 0, 1, 2, 3. And then my negatives start at -1, -2, -3. This just kind of helps set my brain, get it remembering that my positive numbers are to the right, my negative numbers kind of look backwards to the left. So it also helps me remember that negatives are always smaller than positives because they're further to the left, and positives are always larger than negatives because they're further to the right. So I can use this and I could kind of visualize the numbers as we put them in order. Some of the key words, a lot of times when we have problems, sometimes they're really nice and they say put these in order, least to greatest or greatest to least. But sometimes they kind of use key words instead of saying least to greatest and greatest to least. So I want to write down a few of those key words so we can have them in our notes to refer back to. So some key words. The first key word that I see a lot is ascending. Ascending. Does anybody know what ascending means? If something is ascending, it is going up. It is going up. It's getting bigger. It's going up. Which would mean if something is going up or getting bigger, is that least to greatest or greatest to least? If it's getting bigger, that means I'm starting with my small and I'm going up to bigger. So that is going to be least to greatest. And when I take my notes or I show brain work, instead of writing out the words least to greatest, you'll see me, I kind of do this. A big L to G, least to greatest. Another key word that they like to use is the word increasing. It also means going up. It is also putting things in order least to greatest. So ascending and increasing, they mean the same thing. I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I would be going to the right on the number line. All right, the other key words, the opposites to those are, if it's not ascending, it is called descending. And if ascending means going up, what do you think descending means?
Going down.
You got it, going down. And one thing that helps me remember, descending starts with the letter D. Going down starts with the letter D. So if something is going down or it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, I'm going down my number line. Is that least to greatest or greatest to least? Yes. That is what we call greatest to least. But again, I use my big letters, greatest going to least. So before, going up was ascending and increasing. Going down is descending and decreasing. Decreasing also means to go down, to get smaller, to go from greatest to least. So ascending and increasing means my numbers are getting bigger. And descending or decreasing means my numbers are getting what? Smaller. They are getting smaller. They are getting smaller. That's all the keywords for today. Let's do an example, shall we? Here is my example. I'm going to give you a set of numbers, and they're just going to be in any random order.
Can we write that down?
Please. These are our guided notes. So our first number is -7. Our next number is -9. Our next number is -12. And our last number is 8.
Is 8 not negative?
It's a positive 8, just an 8. A regular old 8. And we're going to pretend like the question wants us to put these in ascending order. Might be a big fancy word problem, and then it's going to say, put these numbers in ascending order. And I have to know, ascending, does that mean least to greatest or greatest to least?
Least to greatest.
It means least to greatest right here. Ascending, least to greatest. So when you see this in a word problem, I want you to make yourself a brain note. I want you to tell your brain that, oh yes, this is least to greatest. Yes, I do want you to write this little symbol, least to greatest, or you could write it out if you want. This brain note will help your brain, because have you ever put stuff in order and you do such a good job, but then you realize it's backwards order? So this is just going to help your brain slow down and go, oh, I need my smaller numbers first, my greater numbers last. The smaller numbers have the smallest value. All right, so let's look and see what that looks like. And I'm going to show you a way that I like to show my brain work. I kind of think of it as a race. The winner is going to be the smallest value, because that's going to be what we write down first, right? So when I look at these numbers, first of all, I have positives and negatives. Which types of numbers are always smaller? Positives or negatives?
Negatives.
Yes, because if we remember our number line, negatives are to the left. So I can look at all of my negative numbers, and I can kind of ignore the 8 for right now. I just need to look at my negative numbers, because I know they're going to be smaller. Now I have to figure out which negative number has the smallest value. Does anybody remember our saying from yesterday?
No, I don't remember, but I know which one.
You know which one it is? Which one?
I think it's 12.
You think, I don't see a 12 on here.
Negative 12.
Oh, I see a -12. All right. He is correct. -12 is my smallest value. So watch this. I'm going to tell myself that -12 is going to come in first place. It's going to come in first place. Remember when we talked about the bigger the negative, the smaller the value? -12. 12 is a bigger digit than 9 and 7. The bigger the negative, the smaller the value. So it's the smallest value. It's in first place. Could I go ahead and write it down? I sure could. I could write down -12. So there's my first number. So what's going to be my next smallest value? Who's going to come in second place?
The 9.
Yes, good. The negative 9. Second place. I could go ahead and even write it if I wanted. Negative 9. Do you see how by writing what place they come in, it's helping organize my thoughts?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so who's coming in third place?
Negative 7.
Negative 7 is in third place. Negative 7. And then that means my 8 has to come in last place, in fourth place. So that's the number I write down fourth. Is my 8. If I were to put these on a number line, would they move to the right? Bigger, 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 bigger?
No, it would stay the same, wouldn't it?
Well, let's try it out.
Because they're negative.
If I had a number line, I know 0's here. I know 8 is going to be somewhere up here in the positives, right? I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if I'm starting at 0, I know this is going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 5, 6. There's negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, 10, 11. Oops, I didn't make my number line big enough. There would be negative 12.
Did we write the number line down? Or?
If it helps you visualize, yes. So if I were to plot these numbers, furthest to the left means it is my least value. There's the negative 12, negative 9, negative 7. See how I'm moving left to right? And then all the way up here to 8. So we know that this is our final answer. We're going to put a box around it. You don't have to draw a number line. If it helps you visualize, you can draw a number line.